Well, good afternoon, YouTube. We are back again with another episode of the Cosmic Alliance of the Fist. It is a absolutely gorgeous day here in Pennsylvania. Probably mid to high 70s today. It's lovely out there. Just got back from the gym, did a nice cardio workout, so I'm nice and loose for this episode. I feel great, and the job search still going well. I've applied at a lot of places, waiting on some phone calls, but it takes time. I'll find something eventually, but in the meantime, the goal is stay productive, keep doing the show, plenty to talk about, to bore you guys with, so we'll keep at it. This Saturday, I got a job fair I'm going to, actually, so that'll open up some options. I can go there and put on a nice suit, give out my resume, and hopefully, get something lined up. I've also got tons of stuff I've applied for online, on Indeed and everything, so it's going well. Just trying to narrow down what I want to get into now. I don't want to be in the transportation business anymore, so I'm going to try and stray away from that, but, you got to go where the money is, too, so obviously, if I find a good offer somewhere, I'll jump on it. But you want to try and stay happy wherever you're working. But that's the deal with that. And also, Saturday, if you're in Pittsburgh, I can't make it to this because of the job fair, because that takes priority. There's a diabetes walk down on the North Shore, on the river walk between, I believe, PNC Park and Heinz Field. There's going to be a diabetes walk. So if you want to go down and support the cause and help people with diabetes, by all means, go do that. I don't recommend going down to the North Shore, especially on the Riverwalk, because there was a story a couple weeks ago that there was a predator down there, and he was harassing people. I don't know if they caught the guy. So if you do the diabetes walk on Saturday, by all means go down and support people with diabetes. But go with a friend or get a group of people. Don't do it by yourself, because it's not very safe down there, and everybody knows my thoughts on Pittsburgh. So. But yes, support that if you can. I've got to get to the job fair and try and get something lined up. Otherwise, I can't afford. I'm a diabetic myself, so I would definitely go if I had the means to go down there. But there's priorities. If I don't get a job, I can't buy my diabetes testing supplies. So that's the deal with that. But go down and support it. It's a great thing. But like I said, don't go alone. Make sure you get some friends. And no headphones. Keep your headphones off. So just be careful down there. It's beautiful to walk along the river down there, but it's at the same time it's not that safe sometimes. So keep your wits about you. But other than that, so just some updates on the show. Feedback for the show. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people, and I love that. It's great. The only thing is, people are texting me directly with the feedback about the show. I like this movie. I don't know why you don't like this movie, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. I love that. I love your opinions, and I love people willing to talk about that stuff. That's what the show's for. Comment on YouTube. That's where it needs. That's why it's on YouTube, so people can discuss it on there. Absolutely, if you want to text me and say hi and that you love the show, I appreciate it so much. But leave a comment on YouTube, like and subscribe. That's what it's for. And for people that have been watching and tuning in, I can't thank you enough, but leave a comment on YouTube. It'll mean the world to me. And it's just going well. I love doing it. It's so much fun, and your feedback makes it all the better. So just an update on that. If you have a comment or anything, if you don't like what I'm doing with the show, or you don't like a movie I'm talking about, or you agree or disagree, leave a comment. That's what YouTube's for, to get your voice heard. So and next we're going to do the toy segment for today. Because every episode I want to try and have like a little segue into a toy segment, because I've got so much collectibles in my office, and they kind of just sit here and collect dust. So it's nice to try and show them off once in a while, even if they're little things. So this next one I'm going to talk about. At my previous job I just left, one of my favorite customers that I have, one of my favorite clients, and I do delivery work, so this is a person I would see regularly. He was a little old man who used our service. He had to be mid-80s, not in good health, but he was the sweetest guy in the world. And I'm going to miss him so much, but he would always leave me a tip that I'd get with my paycheck. He'd leave an extra $10 in cold hard cash. That's awesome. It was so nice that he did that. But I remember one of the tips that we got, my wife and I went to a candy store, and I said, well, let's buy something. I had this tip that the customer gave me. I don't give his name out, but he gave me a $10 tip, and we found these really cool Sonic the Hedgehog Pez dispensers. And I think they were $3 or $4 each. I had $10, so I bought all three. And I have them here in my office, and I always think of him when I see these, because I bought these with his tip. I think I said I'm diabetic, so I'm never going to eat Pez ever again, probably. But they are so cool. Pez dispensers. Awesome. And that is the toy for today. 3 of them, but you get it. But I'll never forget him. He was one of the sweetest people in the world. And he wasn't in good health the last time I saw him. I saw him about a month before I left the company, so I'm hoping... If I said his name by accident, I apologize. But I'm hoping he's okay. I shook his hand and said goodbye to him for the last time, and he told me he had some really bad cancer, but maybe I'll try and go visit him and knock on his door and say hello, because there's a lot... I don't think he has any family or anything like that, so it might mean the world to him if I stop by and just chatted with him for a few bit. I don't think he has his wits about him very much, but it might make his day. And you can do the same if you know an elderly person that isn't doing well and doesn't really have family or friends to talk to. Stop by and say hi. They could be towards the end of their life, and it might mean the world to them. But I'll never forget that gentleman. So I hope he continues to live longer. But other than that, well, let's get started with the show. So what we're going to do today is we're going to call this episode... I'm going to do a lot of these too, but I can only do so many right now. We'll call it Being Handy with the Steel. So if you're familiar with Steelbooks, they are DVDs and Blu-rays that come in steel cases. And the artwork on them is incredible. Sometimes it's just the basic Blu-ray that's inside. But regardless, they're cool to collect. I don't have a whole lot of them. I know some of my friends have hundreds and hundreds of them. They're really expensive, so I don't have a whole lot. Just some of my favorite movies. I of course, have one Steelbook, but that'll be the theme for today's show. I've got 10 Steelbooks from my collection that I'm going to talk about. Try and talk about the special features. You really can't read the special features on a Steelbook case because they're not there. I'll hold them up. I'll show the disc, give my thoughts on the film first and foremost, but we will get started. So this first Steelbook I have, I got this from my wife a couple of years ago. So this is technically hers, but I don't think she's ever watched it at all. But this is a Jurassic Park Steelbook collection. Put it on our little bread guy there, as normal. It's called the Jurassic World Collection. And I believe there's 5 movies in here. Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, and then 2 of the new Jurassic World movies. I don't think the 3rd Jurassic World movie is in here. So I'll say right off the bat, I've seen a good bit of the Jurassic Park movies. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I know people are crazy about them. I have friends that absolutely love this film, all these films, because they love dinosaurs and sci-fi and Spielberg and whatnot. They're okay. I'm not a huge fan. Like I said, and here's a really cool story, and my mom can back me up on this one. I actually saw the original Jurassic Park in theaters, believe it or not, back in 1993. And you'd say, how would you do that? You were barely born. So I guess one night, my dad pissed off my mom so bad that she stormed out of the house and went to the movies and saw the original Jurassic Park when she was pregnant with me. I believe that's the story. So I didn't technically see it, but I went to the theater and I was there. But I always thought that was a cool story, and maybe my mom has some more details on that, but that's kind of cool. A movie I saw in theaters and really wasn't even aware of it. So I don't think... I know the franchise is rebooted twice now. I haven't seen the newest one that came out with Scarlett Johansson. I don't plan to unless my wife wants to check it out. She may. But I did buy this Steelbook collection for her, so I have 5 of them in case I ever need to watch them. But we'll look on the back too, flip it around. So just some cool artwork there. if you're a fan of the Jurassic Park films, then you may get a kick out of this Steelbook. It's kind of a letdown because there was one more Jurassic World movie that didn't make it into this collection. They should have waited until that came out, then made the Steelbook, because then it would be a full collection. But then they made another one after that one, so it still would have not been a full collection. But like I said, Steelbooks are always very shiny, and I collect them for the artwork. I have some Steelbooks I'll show you in this one I haven't opened. I'm not going to open them because they're very special to me. But this doesn't list any special features on the cover at all either. So what we're going to do is I'll pop it open real fast and show you the disc. I can't speak too much on this Steelbook. I basically said what I could. There's about 5 discs in here, and I think they all have their own unique special features. It's Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, I think that was called the Fallen Kingdom, and the original Jurassic World, and I can't even remember what the third Jurassic World was called. Was it Jurassic World Homecoming? I saw it in theaters, but for the life of me, I can't. Was it Dominion maybe? But it was okay. They try and put a lot of star power in these movies to get people to go see them. You're really going to see them for the dinosaurs. That's why it's a monster movie. However, I didn't see the newest one, so I'll have to maybe check that one out with my wife, because she's a huge fan of these movies. She loves dinosaurs and Jurassic Park, and she kind of likes monster movies like me, as long as they're not too gnarly, if you get what I'm saying. They're kind of mild with the violence, and I think that's good if you got younger kids who are into monster movies, but they're not quite ready for the grisly stuff. The Jurassic World movies are good. However, I do remember that the newer ones got a little violent, but other than that, I think they're safe for kids. I'm not the biggest fan of this franchise, but I have the Steelbook in case my wife and I ever want to revisit them one night. And it is a Steelbook, so I'll hang on to this. But let's move on. Okay. Now this is more my style. So this next Steelbook, as you can see, Friday the 13th Part 2. I forget where I found this. I might have found it on sale at a Best Buy. The Best Buy or Target. Target no longer sells Blu-rays, which is a shame, and neither does Best Buy. So, good luck finding Steelbooks. I think Walmart might be the only place you can find them these days. So this is probably my second favorite in the franchise. Part 5 is my favorite. Friday the 13th Part 5. But Part 2 is a great follow-up to the original. And if you're a fan of the franchise, spoiler alert, Jason's not the killer in the first one. Everybody knows that if you're a horror fan. Jason shows up for real in Part 2. And he doesn't have the traditional hockey mask yet. He has a potato sack that he puts over his head. And I thought it was just as good as the hockey mask. So I'm surprised they didn't stick with that going forward with the franchise. It picked up I don't remember how long after the first one it picks up after, but I thought it was cool. He was a cool villain. It goes more into the sort of mythos of Mrs. Voorhees and Jason and what exactly happened to him. Expands on it a little more than the first one did. Ups the gore a tad. There's pretty violent scenes in this one. It stands out to me because you have Jason with this. Everyone thinks Jason with the hockey mask, but he had a potato sack on his head with the one little eye poking out. I thought it was awesome. It was basically a remake of the original one. So it holds up. Good slasher film. Part 3 and Part 4 okay. My favorite's Part 5. And then you go to Freddy vs. Jason, which is so awesome. I'd love to find a Steelbook of Freddy vs. Jason. We'll try and find that and talk about it another time. But this is a cool Steelbook, and I'm surprised I found Friday the 13th Part 2 Steelbook, because it's not as popular as some of the other ones. It's not as bad as some of the other ones either, but I maybe found this for $5, so wasn't a bad find. And let's read what's going on in the back here. You're doomed. You're all doomed. That's a quote for that creepy old guy on the bicycle. If you've seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about. Cool steelbook with the blood. And there he is, that creepy old guy on the bicycle. He's right there. Back over one more time. So part 2 is probably my second favorite. Part 5. Part 5 is the worst in the series, but it's my favorite because I love it ironically. But let's pop her open. And this came with a little slip cover that was kind of glued on. I just took it off. It's been on there for years. I've had this for a couple years now. Let's pop her open and see what's going on the inside. Ooh, a digital copy. I forgot that was in there. I will hang on to that. Redeem it. So your Blu-ray disc, good artwork on the disc. And as you can see, there's what I'm talking about. The Jason with the sack on his head. The hockey mask was not a thing yet. That didn't come until part 3. Cool DVD. Let's see if we can pop the disc out. Is there any other artwork? The body count continues. Pretty cool. And as I was saying before with some of these steelbooks, there's not a lot of special features listed. I'd have to pop it in and see what some of the special features would be. I'm assuming a lot of the Blu-ray discs these days have a good bit on them, so yeah, it says they're special features. It just doesn't list what they are, but cool steelbook, nonetheless. Sorry for my squeaky chair. I'm gonna have to oil that up at some point and take care of that, or get a new chair. Okay, we'll revisit this one. I'll just show it to you real fast because I talked about it on the previous episode. King Kong, the steelbook from I talked about it on the last episode. So if you want to hear more about the special features for this, revisit the last episode. But like I said, the nostalgia. I remember this was, I think, maybe 2014. They released some steelbooks that had this sort of comic book style going on with the steelbooks. I had a Scarface one that I found on Black Friday one time. I don't know what happened to that. Another one I might have let somebody borrow at one point, or I traded it just because I hadn't watched it. It was collecting dust. Beyond those days, though, I don't do that anymore. If I find something I like and I want to keep it forever, I do. If I don't want it, I don't take it to a used DVD store anymore. I donate it, because you're not going to get anything for most DVDs these days unless it's something that's super rare. Like I said, I showed you this one the other day. We'll flip it on the back again. This steelbook had tons of special features. I gave my thoughts on it. It's not my favorite King Kong movie. I'm a bigger fan of the Kong vs. Godzilla movies that came out recently. And I'll open it up one more time for you guys, just like I did the other day. Get a little advertisement in here for some other DVDs. Not too much artwork on the inside, I don't think. And your basic Blu-ray disc. Maybe I should put it in the picture so you guys see it. Like I said before, I believe that's just the DVD, and this is the Blu-ray. King Kong peeking his snout over the one disc there. But we'll move on, because like I said, I talked about this the other day, so we won't spend a lot of time on it. Alright. Oh, this is a nice one coming up. Terrifier 3. Now this is a steelbook. I bought this Christmas time last year. I remember watching it. I think I watched it. I saw it in the theaters in October when it came out. Terrifier is one of my, this new generation of horror right now. It's one of my favorites. Terrifier is amazing. I remember watching the first Terrifier on Netflix all those years ago. I think 2017. I first watched it. Incredible. Art the Clown wasn't as popular as he is now back then, so it really got some traction. Art became the new slasher of this generation. And people will have their thoughts on this franchise about Terrifier. If you're not familiar with Terrifier, it's Art the Clown. He's a psychotic demon clown, and he really does a number on his victims. That's sort of the ongoing theme. The over-the-top gore. Almost sort of snuff film-like. And some people really have a problem with it, and the gore's over the top. But if you're a horror film fan, it's exactly what you're looking for. I know there's some people who are really artsy, well done films. Every film has an objective. Some are to entertain, and some films are meant to convey a message. There's no messaging in Terrifier. Terrifier is a popcorn film all the way through. If you can keep your popcorn down while watching this, it's a good old buckets of blood slasher film. If that's what you're looking for, that's what it is. And some people go into it expecting the Mona Lisa. It's not. It is what it's supposed to be. A gory horror film for horror fans. And I love it. I think that's what Damien Leone, the director, is thinking when he made these. And I fully support it, especially these days when everything seems to have some sort of messaging in it. You can ask my mom about that. Every movie we see, she says, oh, there's messaging, this, that. Sometimes you just need a movie that's straightforward. This is what it is. It's a horror film. People get killed. Somebody faces the killer at the end. Do they win? Do they lose? That's the point of it. And I love that these films keep coming out. I hope they make tons of them. I think they're only making one more for now. This is the kind of media we need in these days when everybody's just obsessed with what did this mean and what did that mean or what are they trying to convey. It's a movie. Enjoy it and relax. And I found the Steelbook at Walmart at a good price. I think it was maybe less than $20. And I didn't even know it existed yet. So definitely awesome. 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray. Damien Leone's Terrifier 3. Let's flip it over. There he is. Handsome devil. Art the Clown. He's the king right now of slashers. He's doing it better than anybody. So we'll pop it open and see what the inside looks like. Oh, cool. You know what? I put my movie ticket in here from when I went to see it in theaters. I forgot I did that. So you have your Blu-ray and your DVD here. I'm sure there's tons of special features on these discs too. Like I said, they're not listed on the back because I believe these steelbooks are meant for sort of an aesthetic and not really an informative sort of approach. Let me take a look behind here. Any artwork back there? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Art the Clown with his... It was a Christmas film, believe it or not. If you haven't seen it, Terrifier 3 is Art the Clown's take on Christmas, as you can see right there. Sorry about the glare. But awesome film. It is what it is. If you have a problem with it, I understand it. It's very gory. But at the same time, and no pun intended, it's a work of art. And it's sometimes that's what people are looking for. It's an escape. It's a horror film. Don't read too much into it. Awesome film. I'd love to find steelbooks of the other two Terrifier films. I do have those as well on Blu-ray, but this is the only one I have as a steelbook. Moving on. Oh, alrighty. Let's fix our little bread guy. Here's another yummy one. From Dusk Till Dawn. One of the coolest vampire movies. I first saw this when I was, I'd say 7 or 8. My Uncle Mark. Rest in peace. Love you, Uncle Mark. I think it was on HBO, and he was hanging out at the house. He said, Adam, let's watch this. And I was way too young for it at the time. I was definitely not old enough. And I ratted him out. I told my mom when she got... He might have been babysitting me. And I told my mom when she got home, oh, Uncle Mark and I watched From Dusk Till Dawn, and I loved it. And that's not a movie for a 7 or 8-year-old. Definitely not. And I think it caused a big fight. And my Uncle Mark might have got kicked out for a little while. I'm not sure exactly how it went down, but my mom was not happy. But it was an awesome movie, and I really didn't revisit it again until I was a teenager, because I don't think I was allowed. I think it might have been on cable. My mom and dad, when we hit cable, they had parental locks. So if something was rated R on cable, on HBO or whatever, AMC, they'd have to put in a code to unlock it so I could watch it. So I don't think I was able to revisit it again until I was a teenager, but wow. I'm happy with who I am, but if I could be any character, if I could live a character from a movie, it would be George Clooney's character in From Dusk Till Dawn. What a badass. From start to finish, I just loved his character. And Tarantino, his brother in the film, the Gecko brothers, they're both amazing. But I thought Tarantino's character, Clooney's character, was so awesome. It's cool, sexy, he had it all. And you got Selma Hayek with barely anything on, dancing around. I think that's why my Uncle Mark got in trouble. And Selma Hayek looks exactly the same today as she did in this movie. If you're a fan of hers, check this one out. She doesn't really have any lines, but she doesn't need any. Buckets of blood, another gore fest. Practical effects. There was not much CGI in this film. And people are comparing it. They're comparing the movie Sinners that just came out. They're saying it has a real Dusk Till Dawn vibe, because the movie starts off as a crime film, and not to spoil too much, but then it about an hour in, it turns into a gory vampire film that you really, if you had nothing about the film and went into it blind, you'd be very surprised. And I'm always into sort of films like that take sort of a sudden twist like that. Barbarian sort of did that too a little bit. Definitely an awesome film. I found this Steelbook at a place near me that it's now closed, but it was a used DVD store. It's so awesome, and I never expected to find it. Take a look at the back. There she is. I think that's Selma Hayek right there, Senorita. Cool artwork. Definitely love it. Let's pop it open and take a look at the discs. Oh, if you got kids in the room, tell them to leave, because we have some eye candy right there. Geez, this is a Steelbook if I ever saw one. So I believe this is the DVD and the Blu-ray. And once again, I can't speak to the special features, but I'm sure there's a lot. Probably some commentary from Tarantino. Robert Rodriguez, I think, helped with this. I think he directed it. One of these cool cult films that doesn't get enough credit these days. And there is a show that they made. I love a lot of the From Dusk Till Dawn movies. I've seen the first two. I haven't seen the third From Dusk Till Dawn movie, because I think the two after this went straight to DVD, and they're not bad. So I don't understand that. And then there's a TV series. It might have been on the CW. I'm not entirely sure. But it's sort of a loose remake of this. So maybe I'll check that out at some point. Cool movie. If there's a word to describe it, just cool and slick. One of my favorite Steelbooks in my collection. They're all my favorite, but this one is pretty cool, and I've had it for about 10 years now. Up next, another one of my favorite films from the early 80s that does not get enough credit. Let's get rid of the glare. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. If you're a horror film, I won't go into the details about why this film is beloved, why it's hated. People have their opinions on it. I think it's incredible. And I really didn't appreciate it until I started growing up. My brother and I watched this on the AMC channel because they'd air it all the time. And it threw us off because we would watch the first two Halloween films, and then Halloween 3 would come on. And what do you know? Michael Myers is not in it, as any horror fan knows. But at the time, I didn't realize he didn't need to be in it. When I got into high school and I rewatched this film, I had a bigger appreciation for it because I was a little more mature. I was able to understand the story and the chaos that went down in the film. Excellent movie. If you set aside the part that Michael Myers isn't in it and you actually watch it and enjoy it, it's a B horror movie from the 80s, and it is awesome. The practical special effects, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of bugs, a lot of blood. Definitely cool and underrated to this day, and people still hate on it. It has grown a cult following over the years, which that warms my heart because it deserves it. And the acting, some of the acting is a little iffy, but a lot of it is actually really cool. Now, this Steelbook, the final steelbook in this collection. I picked this one and the one I'm going to reveal at the end. I bought them during COVID with the the $600 payments everybody was getting. I got one, and I said, well, I got to buy something, a little COVID souvenir. So I realize that's cruel because people were fighting to stay alive back then, and I'm buying Blu-rays. But hey, man, I had the extra cash, and this was on shoutfactory.com. If you've ever heard of them, they got a lot of good steelbooks. And I get a lot of my steelbooks from Shout Factory, which the horror subsection of Shout Factory, Scream Factory. They have these cool steelbook and special edition releases of all their horror films. A lot of John Carpenter and cult films you can find on there. Really cool editions of the Blu-rays and steelbooks. Now, I have 4 or 5 copies of Halloween 3, DVD and Blu-ray. But I have this unique steelbook, and it is still in the plastic wrap. And this actually does list the special features on here. So I'm not going to open this today because I don't have the need to. I've seen the film, and I basically have the equivalent of this DVD. Like I said, it's the Scream Factory edition, special edition. This is the same thing, just in the steelbook case. So I'm not going to bother opening this. I want to keep it preserved because it's near and dear to my heart. But I could read off some of the special features. I'm sure there's some cool artwork on the inside there, but I'm not going to take this out of the plastic just because I'm weird about that. I don't need to. I've seen the film. I don't need to take this out and put the disc in. But I just like the cool artwork on the front. Basic plot of the film is there's a killer Halloween TV commercial, and these children wear the masks, and if they happen to be watching this commercial wearing these special, they're called silver shamrock masks, kapow. Everything just goes to shit, and I won't spoil anything further. Cool movie. Let me read some special features. 4K scan of the original negative, audio commentary with director Tommy Lee Wallace, audio commentary with director Tom Atkins. All right. Standalone, The Making of Halloween 3, featuring Tommy Lee Wallace. Interview with makeup effects artist Tom Berman. I'd like to watch that interview at some point. It's probably on the other special edition I have. But theatrical trailer, TV and radio spots. I'm glad this movie is getting its flowers these days because it deserves it. Moving on. Okay, we're getting close to the bottom of the pile here. Okay, here's another classic. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original OG. I found this is another steelbook I found at Best Buy for a reasonable price, and this was toward the end of Best Buy's Blu-ray and DVD sales, so I'm glad I found it when I did. Hey, you can always order this stuff online. However, there was something that always brought me joy when you went to Best Buy or wherever, and you were able to find a physical copy of a movie you were looking for. I've talked about that in other videos. There's no better feeling. And then taking it home from the store, ripping it out of that plastic and putting it in and enjoying it. I found this one at Best Buy, probably $10, $15. For a Texas Chainsaw Massacre steelbook, good deal. So, I originally watched this film when I was with my buddy John. I have a lot of friends named John, but this particular John, this was one of those films where I think I tried to rent it at the video store and I brought it home and my mom and dad said, no, not yet. So we're going to take this back. But I was with a friend, my friend John, and we happened to find it somewhere. I think maybe we went back to the video store, and his mom and dad didn't care. So, or they were at work or something, or they weren't home. We popped that sumbitch in, and I think our jars hit the floor. Like, we were traumatized. It's kind of a rough film, even when you're 10 or 11 years old. It's a very grisly film, real. And you read about the production and the hell that the actors went through, the heat, the smells, because they used practical effects. They used actual animal organs and stuff for some of the dinner scenes. And it comes off in the film. And it gave birth to one of the first slashers out there, Leatherface. One of the most iconic horror characters out there. There's plenty of them, but this guy, he wearing a mask with human skin on it. The guy was based off Ed Gein. Google him, kids. It'll go down in history as a film that really kicked off the gory horror genre. It was mid-70s when it came out, and there wasn't anything too violent up to that point. Maybe Night of the Living Dead. But this one, it took kids. It was the original slasher formula. Teenagers partying, having a good time on a road trip, and then everything goes to hell real fast, and it's not pretty. It's a film that'll stick with me because I watched it at a very young age, and that kind of stuff doesn't leave you. This spawned tons of sequels and spin-offs, and they're all pretty good in my opinion. There's one or two of them that are very subpar, that are better off just being B movies that you forget about. But this original, it's going to go down in history as something special. But here is the steelbook of it. And I have a lot of copies of this too, but this one is pretty awesome. That's your main villain, Leatherface, right there. And aside from wearing a mask with human skin, he has multiple masks of human skin. So he switches them on and off throughout the film. Take a good look at the back there. That is a chainsaw blade. Not really used for cutting trees. Let's pop it open and take a look inside. So inside here, there's not really much artwork at all. For a steelbook, that's kind of a letdown, but it's still a cool disc. And it's just kind of a transfer from the cover there. Awesome film nonetheless. I'm glad I found this steelbook. It wasn't one I was looking for. Just happened to be strolling through a Best Buy, and there it was. Moving on. We're getting close to the end, guys. Now, this... I talked in the last episode about Kurt Russell and how he's one of my favorite actors. And this is why he's one of my favorite actors. Because of this film right here. Escape from New York. John Carpenter's Escape from New York. Cult classic. If you haven't seen it. I know adults, people older than me. I know my wife's dad. I asked him at one point, have you ever seen Escape from New York? He goes, oh, what the hell is that? Awesome film. Check it out. Entertaining from start to finish. This goes back to Terrifier 3. It's a popcorn movie. Don't read too much into it. And John Carpenter is such an amazing director. Halloween, The Thing, Prince of Darkness. He's got banger after banger. There's a few in there that weren't so good, but Escape from New York, besides Halloween, Halloween's in a category of its own. I think other than Halloween, this is his best film. And he created one of the greatest anti-heroes of all time with Kurt Russell's Snake Plissken. Total badass. You can see him right behind me on the wall too. I've got a little diorama behind me. One of the coolest films ever. A very good ending. There is a sequel, Escape from L.A. I love Escape from L.A. I think I'm the only person in the world who loves Escape from L.A. And that's all we'll say about Escape from L.A. This is one my mom let me watch when I was just a wee lad. I think it was on HBO or something, or maybe the AMC channel. And it's not super violent. There are some sort of grisly scenes, but you could get away with showing it to maybe a 10-year-old. The score, the theme song, probably one of my favorite theme songs from any movie, and that's saying a lot. And done by John Carpenter himself. A lot of synth action. Yeah, good cast of characters, too. There's a lot of well-known actors in this film. And many of them have passed on, so rest in peace to them. But one of my favorite movies. Probably my second favorite movie of all time. Because we're going to talk about my first favorite movie of all time next, which is our final steelbook. But the artwork, incredible. And this is another film. I have 5 or 6 copies of this, DVD, Blu-ray. I might even have a VHS of it somewhere. One of my favorites. And the plot of the movie, the president lands... They turn Manhattan into a maximum security prison. It's kind of hokey, but the President of the United States lands in New York. His plane crashed in there. Somebody's got to go in there, and that is Mr. Snake Plissken. And that is all I'll give away. If you have not seen this movie, stop what you're doing and just watch it. Rent it. Find it on Netflix. It's probably on streaming somewhere. It is awesome, entertaining from start to finish. Go to the back. Tons of special features on this one, which I'll read you in a second. This is a steelbook I have opened. I think I caved and opened it one day, just so I could see what's going on in the inside. And we'll take a quick peek. Even these discs are so cool. So I want to show you these right here. And the quote, "The rules are simple. Once you go in, you don't come out. Manhattan Island Prison. Once you go in, you don't come out. It's for life. So if you did something and they put you in this prison, you ain't coming out unless you're Snake Plissken." But look at these discs. Awesome. They have all this detail on the discs. This is the main disc, feature film, and then a whole disc of special features. So you get your money's worth with this Blu-ray. Definitely cool. Let's take a look at the special features. I'll be brief with them. A look at the special effects, including interviews with Dennis Skotak, Robert Skotak, and more. Interview with still photographer. Deleted scenes from the original opening bank robbery sequence. Return to Escape from New York featurette. Theatrical trailers. Again, this is another Blu-ray where you get tons of bonus features, so you get your money's worth. Audio commentary with Adrienne Barbeau. Audio commentary with director John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. That's awesome. And there's tons more. I won't read too many of them off, but I think that's why I opened this, because I wanted to listen to some of these commentary tracks. Escape from New York. Top tier 80s cinema. Check it out if you haven't. And finally... Oh no, we have two more. I thought we had one more. Which one do we want to do? These are both so good. Alright. Let's do Halloween 2 first. Halloween 2 from 1981. My favorite horror movie. This might be my favorite movie of all time. I am a huge Michael Myers fan. I've said it in previous videos. I love this one better than the original. I was a little kid. I think this might have been the first Michael Myers movie I saw before the original. I think my dad was watching it on TV, and I walked in, and he was taking a nap or something. It was just on, and I watched it, and I was traumatized because it was so scary. And growing up throughout the years watching this film over and over again, I have this lunchbox here. I have 8 copies of this film in that lunchbox. Halloween 2 is one of my favorite films of all time. And you may say, well, it's just a B horror movie from the 80s. It's a lot more than that to me. It's one of the best sequels of all time, horror-wise. The original is great. The original Halloween is great, but this one, it upped the gore a lot. It upped the mythos of Michael Myers. What's going on with him? Why won't he die? Why does he keep coming? And the ending of this film, explosive. The ending is kind of a spoiler right here. But I always loved the portrayal of Michael Myers in this film as this maniac who, no matter what you did to him, he just wouldn't go down. You shot him, you burned him, you stabbed him. He wouldn't go down. And something about that just tickled my fancy. There's a horror movie villain out there who's just unstoppable. He's a force of nature. And to this day, I'm still impressed with this film. Is the acting great? No, not at all. But it really continued the story. And I have so many copies of this. And I'll cherish it forever as one of my favorite films. I'm just at a loss for words for how much I love this movie. I have tons of copies of this. And I'm sure in future episodes I'll talk about more of the copies. I already talked about one, a TV cut I have. This is another Steelbook that I have not opened. And I don't plan to. Just because I have the standard version of this Blu-ray. And this is the Steelbook version, which I just bought strictly for the art during COVID. With my economic relief payment, the 600 we all got. This, like its predecessor, is a class act. And John Carpenter did not actually direct this. He was producer and he had some input on it, but it was not directed by him, and he actually doesn't like it. He said that there's a lot differently he would do. He did do the score, which out of any of the Halloween films, this has the best score in my opinion. It's very, very more synth-oriented and very gothic, and it really hits home. Brings out a lot of fear and emotion. I wish there was more I could say, but like I said, I'm kind of at a loss for words how much I love this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is okay. Not as good as a performance as the original. But the star in this one is Michael Myers, because he just kind of set the standard in this one for what Michael Myers should be going forward. A soulless, emotionless guy who you just can't bring down. And what better villain? And that is Halloween 2. We're not going to open it. We'll see what kind of special features we got. Theatrical version with the TV cut. Now, I talked in previous videos, I have a makeshift TV cut that I bought at a flea market for way too much money, which I still have. But it's included in this. The Nightmare Isn't Over, the making of Halloween 2. Commentary from pretty much everybody on the cast. Still gallery, theatrical trailer, TV and radio spots. Horror's Hollow Grounds, revisiting the original shooting location, so you could see the hospital where this was filmed, which I believe is in San Dimas, California. One of my favorite films ever. And I'll keep this Blu-ray. I'm probably never going to open it. And I will keep it safe forever. Now, okay, so our final one today. What do you think it might be? There's a hint. That's right. Is it safe to go back in the water? No, it is not. Jaws. The original Jaws on Steelbook. One of the greatest monster movies of all time. And beneath its surface, it's more than just a monster movie. So, if you watch this film when you're a young kid, which I did, I think everybody in my generation, maybe when we were maybe 7 or 8 years old, maybe we all watched this for the first time. Our parents saw it on television and let us watch it. Or at least that's the consensus I get these days. Everybody saw this when they were a kid. And back then, it's a monster movie. A true diehard monster movie at its core. And I've developed sort of an appreciation for it over the years, and I've learned more about it. And it's not just a monster movie anymore. It is a look into the PTSD and fear more than anything else, and what something like this can do to a community. And I don't know if you've ever read the book Jaws, and you think about what the mayor's going through, and he's a dick and he wants to close the beaches, or he wants to keep the beaches open, and the sheriff wants to close the beaches. If you read the book, spoiler alert, the mafia was at this mayor's throat, and that's kind of why he wanted the beaches open, because you don't want to be on the wrong end of the mafia. But that wasn't in the movie, but I thought that's such an interesting sort of twist that you never think about. What an animal like this can do to a beautiful tourist town, and the money that comes in. And it gets to a point where it's not about money anymore, it's about saving lives. And then Quint's character, and this is kind of what I was talking about with PTSD, and I really didn't pick up on this until I sort of matured. And Quint talks about the Indianapolis and everything that happened, and then you see Quint sort of sabotaging this whole sort of charter that they're on, smashing the radio and breaking the boat. And even if he doesn't realize he's doing it unconsciously. It's touching on PTSD before I think PTSD even became a real thing. People talk about that today. I can't speak on PTSD. I'm not a veteran. Thank you to all the veterans out there, and the ones that are dealing with that. I pray for all of you. But it's something you see in this film that I didn't see that when I was a kid, and now I can see it now. So this film has layers to it. And I found this Steelbook, and I paid a pretty penny for it. It was not cheap, but how cool. Look at that. And on the back, too. And we'll flip it open. Take a look at the discs as well. I think there's some more artwork. Oh my God, beautiful. This is one of my favorite Steelbooks. There you go. Look at that. Simply gorgeous. This is a 4K and Blu-ray. And I'll just speak on this real fast. My best friend on Saturday surprised me. Because I'm out of work right now, obviously. I've mentioned that. And he asked me, hey, we're going to the movies tonight. I'm picking you up. I said, I got to pass, man. I'm trying to watch my money. He said, it's on me. Come on, let's go. We go to the theater. He got me tickets to see Jaws remastered on the big screen. What an incredible experience. They remastered this film so well. I even commented, I said, I thought a pipe burst in the theater. The sound remaster was so well. Wild to see. It's for the 50th anniversary, Jaws 50th. It's replaying in cinemas. If you want to support your local theater and check out a film one evening and there's nothing really good playing, Jaws is playing right now. Go see Jaws. You're not going to be disappointed. Groundbreaking film. And a monster movie. You can't really do much better than that. And it holds up to this day. Terrified people. Beyond belief. You read the stories about what this film did. Traumatized. And it's scary. I think when I saw it as a kid, and there was a point when we were taking family vacations down to the beach, I didn't want to go in the water because I had just seen Jaws or Jaws 2. Jaws 3 is scary for other reasons, but it hit home for a lot of people, and that's still to this day. There's people afraid to go in the water because you don't know what's in there or how big whatever is in there is. And I will hang on to this Steelbook because this is... Maybe there's a Criterion Collection version of this film. I'm not sure, but it should be preserved forever. Spielberg. You can't say anything else. Spielberg, he did it. And I think I read it's his second film. Spielberg's second film. What does that say to him as a director? Simply awesome. But it's going to close out our Steelbook show for today. Thank you guys so much for sitting through about 15 minutes of this. I hope it brought you some joy. Maybe you have some Steelbooks of your own sitting on your shelf at home. Please comment. Any feedback about the show, whether you like it or hate it, or you like a movie, you don't like a movie, you know an interesting fact about a film, comment on the YouTube page. By all means, if you want to talk to me directly and send me a text about your thoughts, that's cool too. But put it on YouTube so you can open up discussion and get other people's thoughts. And this is all for fun at the end of the day. I can't thank you guys enough if you stuck with me this whole time. I'm trying to have a set schedule for the show. I'm thinking Tuesdays and Fridays. Now, this could change because I hope to have a job landed within the next month here. Within the next week, preferably. I'd like to have something lined up, something good. But Tuesdays and Fridays, I want to put out a show. And I still have tons more film I can talk about, and DVDs and Blu-rays back there. And I even have CDs. If any music fans listen, music fans, like there's people out there who are not fans of music. This Friday, I'm going to try and get out a show. I do have jury duty. Unfortunately, I have to check Thursday night if I actually have to go. So hopefully Friday, I won't be sitting downtown at the courthouse all day. But if I am, it's my civic duty apparently. So I think they give you $5 for lunch. So it can't be that bad. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. Join the Alliance. And we'll see you guys again soon. And have a wonderful afternoon and enjoy the beautiful weather.